Welcome back to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, we are, whether you're prepping for a high-stakes strategy meeting or, just trying to catch up on industry trends, or maybe you're just insanely curious about pop culture, you are in the exact right place.
Absolutely.
Because the mission for today's deep dive is to unpack this massive, honestly kind of brewing debate in the global music industry right now. It's about what the K in K-pop actually means anymore.
Right. It's becoming a really complex question.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing these two massive recent cultural flashpoints. Just a couple of weeks ago, on February 27th, BLACKPINK released their new song, Go.
Yep. And the reaction was immediate.
Yeah. It faced all this intense criticism, mainly from domestic fans, because there are 0 Korean lyrics in it.
Not at all.
And it's not just the words, right? The underlying musical architecture just completely lacks that familiar structure, the build-ups, the dramatic drops that domestic fans expect.
What's fascinating here is that it's not an isolated incident. If you look at BTS, they have their comeback album releasing on March 20th.
Oh, right. Ring.
Exactly. They titled the album Orang, which is a deeply traditional, unofficial anthem of Korea.
Right. It has so much historical weight to it.
It does. But then the track list dropped, and
No Korean.
0. Absolutely no Korean song titles. So you have this deeply traditional title wrapping a project that seemingly just abandons the language.
It's such a massive identity crisis.
It is. It's a genre caught between maintaining those cultural roots and achieving just total, frictionless, global pop domination.
So if the musical structure of these new songs, like Go, is completely Westernized, is the Korean language the only thing that actually makes K-pop, well, K-pop?
That is the big question. And to answer it, we actually have to look at a powerful comparison from the source material. Think about the Latin pop market, specifically Bad Bunny.
Oh, okay.
Bad Bunny skyrocketed to global fame by taking Latin music and adapting it to standard pop grammar.
So he made the beats and structures accessible to a global audience.
Right. But, and this is the key part, he fiercely maintained his Spanish language and his Puerto Rican identity.
He didn't compromise on the language.
Exactly. He forced the Western music industry to meet him on his own cultural terms. And maintaining that identity was actually crucial to him winning Album of the Year at the Grammys.
Which is huge.
It's the exact level of artistic recognition that K-pop is desperately striving for right now.
So if BTS and BLACKPINK are stripping away the Korean language, are they basically risking that exact cultural identity just for broader mainstream appeal?
They absolutely are. It's a massive gamble.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. Because if language is gone, what about the famous K-pop sound? You always hear fans talk about punky.
Right, the trot influence.
Yeah, those addictive melodies, that slightly sorrowful vocal inflection. Isn't that uniquely Korean?
You'd think so, but practically all K-pop genres are just reinterpretations of Western pop trends.
Really? All of them?
Pretty much. If you look at the early days, it was heavily driven by New Jack Swing.
Oh, wow, like 90s American R&B?
Exactly. The drum machines, the heavy syncopation, the agencies basically just imported that exact sound architecture. And then later you had the EDM boom and now modern hip-hop.
So the K-pop sound has always been deeply intertwined with standard global pop.
Always. There are very few exceptions.
Though to be fair, there is that one exception mentioned in the sources. BTS member Suga.
Right, under his Aegis D alias.
Yeah, his track Daeshwita. He actually mixed traditional Korean instruments like military marching music elements straight into a heavy hip-hop beat.
Which was brilliant. But that deep integration of traditional elements is very much the exception, not the rule.
Okay, so the music itself is heavily Western. But here's where it gets really interesting. What about the idol system itself?
Ah, the system.
Yeah, the rigorous trainee programs, the immaculate dancing, the visuals. Surely that meticulously crafted corporate machine is uniquely Korean.
Actually, no.
Wait, really?
The core system is a highly evolved version of American and Japanese models.
Break that down for me.
Okay, so think about the visuals. Good-looking youths, singing and dancing perfectly in sync. That traces straight back to 1990s American groups like NSYNC.
Okay, I can see that. The boy band blueprint.
Right. And then you look at the training, the intense pre-debut education on stage manners, how to handle interviews perfectly.
The media training.
Exactly. That goes all the way back to the 1960s with the Jackson 5 and the Motown machine.
Motown. That makes so much sense.
They basically manufactured public personas.
Yeah.
And K-pop adopted that exact philosophy.
Okay, but the trainee system specifically, the way they build fandoms before a group even debuts, that has to be South Korean.
Actually, that comes from Japan.
You're kidding.
Nope. The founder of SM Entertainment, Lee Soo-man, he modeled the K-pop trainee system after Japan's Johnny and Associates.
Wow.
Johnnies call their trainees juniors. They use them as backup dancers for senior artists, and they even held pre-debut concerts to build a fandom.
So they removed the commercial risk before the debut?
Exactly. It is the exact identical blueprint that K-pop uses today.
That is mind-blowing. So the beats are American, the media training is Motown, the corporate structure is Japanese. They just synthesized it perfectly.
Highly refined and optimized, yes.
So what does this all mean? If you're listening to this deep dive right now, and maybe you aren't even a K-pop fan, why should you care about this debate over language or the history of the trainee system?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's not just about music anymore. These groups are massive engines for the Korea brand.
The soft power is just off the charts.
It is unprecedented.
I mean, looking at the statistics from the Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism, it's staggering. Last year, in 2025, over 18.5 million foreign tourists visited South Korea.
18.5 million.
And that completely smashes the previous record from 2019, which was 17.5 million.
During the absolute height of the initial boom.
Right. And the 2024 domestic music industry revenue, it hit a staggering 13.27 trillion won.
It's an economy-shifting scale.
And it bleeds into everything. My favorite anecdote from the source material is about BTS's Jungkook.
Oh, the noodles?
Yes. He just posts a recipe on social media for buldak mayo perilla oil maguksu. No brand partnership, just a late-night snack.
And the global supply chain literally reacts in real time.
Exactly. It caused this massive spike in overseas sales for Samyang Foods buldak sauce, just from one post.
Which brings us to the ultimate irony here. Even if a song like Blackpink's Go has 0 Korean words and sounds completely Western,
it still results in people booking flights to Seoul.
Exactly. It drives Korean exports.
Huh?
The end result is inherently Korean, even if the product itself is stripped of geographic identifiers.
But that has to be so tough for the domestic fans. There's this huge generational divide happening right now.
There really is.
Fans in their late 20s and 30s are actively mourning the loss of that nostalgic 2010s K-pop vibe. They miss the domestic inside jokes, the feeling that it was theirs.
But the global pop market has moved on. The machinery requires scale, and nostalgia just can't compete with that.
This raises an important question, though, doesn't it?
It does. This raises an important question for the whole industry. They are at a crossroads. To get that Bad Bunny level of prestige, that Grammy Album of the Year, they have to figure out exactly where to position themselves.
Right, like what is the absolute minimum K required?
Exactly. What is the minimum cultural identity needed to command respect while still dominating global pop radio?
If you lean too far west, you're just another pop act.
And if you lean too traditional, you might alienate the massive casual global audience.
It is such a fascinating tightrope they're walking right now.
It really is.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We've covered the language debate, the imported origins of the idol system, and those wild economic realities. But before you go, we want to leave you with one final thought to explore on your own.
Something to really chew on.
Yeah. If K-pop's musical structure, its training system, and now even its language, are increasingly non-Korean, does the K in K-pop no longer represent a geographic culture at all? Has it simply become the name of a highly effective, borderless corporate business model?
A borderless machine.
Think about that next time you hear one of those perfect pop anthems. Thanks for listening, and until next time.